My phone buzzed late at night. I was half asleep, not really resting, but too tired to get up. The screen lit up the ceiling of my apartment. A text came from a number I did not recognize. Ms. Okonkwo, I took Marcus to another doctor. He does not have asthma. He never had asthma. Why did your father tell me my son had asthma? I read it once. Then again. Then I sat up, turned on the lamp, and read it one more time. My mouth went dry. Marcus Chen. I knew that name. I had signed his referral authorization months earlier. I remembered it because something about that file had stayed in my mind, even though I had tried to forget it. The signature on that referral was mine. Lena Okonkwo, pediatric nurse practitioner at Elmview Pediatric Associates. The practice my father built from a small one-room office into one of the most trusted clinics in town. The practice where I had worked for years. The practice where I trained the staff, managed triage, and signed referrals that sent children to specialists. I did not sleep after that text, not even a little. Early the next morning, I was at my desk before anyone else arrived. The cleaning crew had just left, and the waiting room smelled like sharp lemon disinfectant. I pulled Marcus Chen's file, asthma diagnosis, referral to a pediatric lung specialist, authorized by me. My signature was right there. I pulled another file, then another, and another. Different children, different families, same kind of diagnosis, same small group of specialists, same referral pattern. And my signature on all of them. I stopped counting and opened a spreadsheet. That is what I do when I need the truth to stop hiding. I am good with patterns. I can look at medical codes and referrals and see what does not belong. Some people see shapes in clouds. I see mistakes in systems. By the time the clinic opened, the pattern was clear. Too many children had been diagnosed with conditions they might not have had. Too many had been sent to the same specialists. Too many referrals had passed through my hands. And the worst part was this. I had seen the pattern before. More than a year earlier, I had run a routine referral audit for our clinic. Something about the numbers felt wrong even then. Too many asthma cases. Too many specialist referrals. Too much movement in one direction. I printed the report. I circled the strange parts in red. Then I put it in the bottom drawer of my desk and told myself I must be reading it wrong, because my father had been practicing medicine for most of my life. He was Dr. Leonard Okonkwo, the doctor everyone trusted, the man who remembered every child's birthday, the man whose photo hung in community offices and school fundraisers, and I was just Lena, his daughter, his nurse practitioner, so I closed the drawer. And I did nothing, until now. I unlocked the bottom drawer and pulled out the old report. The red circles were still there. The same pattern, the same warning, the same truth I had not wanted to face. I had not been wrong back then. I had been right, and I had looked away. By the time I heard the front desk open, I closed the spreadsheet and locked the drawer. Then I heard my father's voice in the hallway, that warm, easy laugh. The laugh that made parents trust him. The laugh that said, "Your child is safe with me." My hands rested on the desk. They were not shaking. I almost wished they were. Instead, they were perfectly still. The way they get when I find something wrong. My grandmother used to call it my clinical face. She would look at me across the counter of her old store and say, "Lena, somebody's in trouble." She was right. I just did not know yet that the person in trouble was me, because I had signed those referrals, my signature, my protocols, my father's diagnoses. And in the bottom drawer of my desk was an old report proving I had known something was wrong and had looked away because the truth was too heavy to lift. I did not go home after work. I drove to Canal Street. The building sat on the corner like it had been waiting for me. A 2-story brick storefront that had once been my grandmother's dry goods store. The old sign was gone, but if you knew where to look, you could still see the faded outline of her name on the brick. I unlocked the door and stepped inside. The smell of fresh drywall, sawdust, and paint hit me first. For years, I had worked on this place at night and on weekends. I learned how to hang drywall from videos. I learned how to wire light fixtures from a book I bought at the hardware store. I framed out a waiting room, 2 exam rooms, and a small office in the back where my grandmother used to keep extra stock. She had left me this building when she died. My father did not know. I never told him. I think some part of me always knew I might need one thing that was mine, something he could not control, something he could not take. My grandmother was the one who taught me to pay attention. When I was a child, I sat behind the counter in her store and watched customers come in. She would make me guess what they were going to buy before they reached the counter. "People tell you who they are," she used to say. "Most people just do not pay attention." I walked through the half-finished rooms and ran my hand along the drywall I had hung myself. The seams were not perfect. If you looked close, you could see the tape, but the walls were straight, the rooms were clean. The light came through the front windows the same way it did when my grandmother stood behind that counter. I had built this, with my own hands, while my father's practice ran on systems I had designed and referrals I had authorized. The building was not finished yet, but it was close. And standing there in that unfinished waiting room, I made the decision I had avoided for too long. I was going to confront my father. The next evening, I waited until the last patient left. The staff had gone home. The parking lot was empty except for my car and my father's. He was in his office dictating notes. I could hear his voice through the door. Warm, calm, trusted, Dr. Len, the man every parent believed. I knocked. "Come in, sweetheart." Sweetheart, he had called me that since I was little. It sounded different now. I closed the door behind me. His office looked the same as always, mahogany desk, medical journals, framed photos with local leaders, newspaper clippings about the clinic. One article on the wall praised the practice as one of the best in the region. I had written the application that helped win that recognition. My name was not in the article. "I need to ask you something," I said. He looked up from his notes, reading glasses low on his nose. "Of course, what is on your mind?" I placed Marcus Chen's file on his desk. "His mother texted me. He was diagnosed with asthma here. By you. She got a second opinion. He does not have asthma." My father did not look at the file. He looked at me. "Lena, you know how these things work. Asthma can look different in different children. A second opinion is just a second opinion. It does not mean the first one was wrong." He was on inhalers he did not need. "You are concerned. I understand that, but you are a nurse practitioner, not a physician." He said it gently. That made it worse, like he was correcting a child. "These are clinical judgment calls," he said. "They are not always simple." I placed the spreadsheet beside the file. I found a pattern. Children with similar diagnoses, sent to the same specialists, again and again. His face did not move, not even a flicker. "That is concerning," he said. "I will look into it." I already did. My voice was quiet. I also found the old audit report. The one that showed the same pattern. The one I put in my desk drawer because I could not believe my father would do this. The silence stretched. Somewhere down the hall, the ice machine dropped a fresh batch of cubes. The sound echoed through the office. Then my father took off his glasses, folded them, set them on the desk. "You need to be very careful, Lena." His voice was not warm anymore. "These are serious accusations. If you take this outside this office, you will regret it." I stood still. "Are you threatening me?" "I am protecting you." He leaned back in his chair. "You have done good work here. I would hate to see you throw it away over a misunderstanding about billing codes." Billing codes, that was what he called it. Children had been given diagnoses they may not have had. Families had trusted him, and he called it billing codes. I picked up the file and the spreadsheet and walked out of his office. I did not say another word. If I had opened my mouth, I would have screamed, and I did not want to give him that. I did not want to be the emotional daughter who lost control. I wanted to be the daughter who proved him wrong. I had a building on Canal Street he did not know about. I had a grandmother who taught me to pay attention. And somewhere in this town, there had to be parents who had noticed the same thing. I just had to find them. But I did not know yet that my father had already started making his next move. The letter from the nursing board arrived not long after. It said a complaint had been filed against me. It claimed I had accessed confidential patient records without a proper reason. The files I pulled to investigate my father had been twisted into a weapon against me. My nursing license was temporarily suspended. I read the letter over and over until the words stopped making sense. Then I sat on the floor of my apartment with the letter in my hand and my grandmother's building key on the coffee table. My father had done it, his own daughter. He had taken the only thing I did to uncover the truth and turned it into the accusation. Technically, he knew how to make it sound bad. Technically, he knew how to use the system. That evening, my mother called, for the first time in weeks. "Lena," she said, "what did you do to your father?" I stared at the key on the table. "He filed a complaint against me," I said. "My license is suspended." "Well," she said slowly, "if you went through those files without permission. He has been diagnosing children with conditions they do not have." There was silence. Then she said, "I do not know anything about that. I just know your father is very upset, and I do not understand why you are doing this to our family." After that, she stopped calling. For weeks, I could not practice. I could not see patients. I could not sign referrals. I could not walk into a clinic and be Lena Okonkwo, pediatric nurse practitioner. I was just Lena, the woman under investigation, the daughter who turned on her father. The rumors spread fast. That is what happens in a town where everyone knows your family name. People looked away from me at the pharmacy. A mother at the grocery store pulled her child closer when I walked past. Conversations stopped when I entered a room, so I spent most of my time at the Canal Street building. I painted walls, installed cabinets, set up exam rooms. The work kept my hands busy, and I needed that. Then Rachel Green called. She was Marcus's mother, the woman who had sent me that first text. "I heard what happened," she said. "About your license, I am sorry, but that is not why I am calling." I waited. "There are more of us," she said. "Parents." I started asking around after Marcus got his second opinion. Some families had the same kind of experience. We thought we were alone. My hand tightened around the phone. "We have records," she said. "Second opinion letters, notes, timelines. We did not know if it was enough, but we knew something was wrong." I sat down on the subfloor of what would become an exam room. "Can I meet with you?" "Some families are scared," Rachel said. "Your father has been their children's doctor for years. It is hard to believe, even when you know." I knew exactly what she meant. The first meeting happened in Rachel's kitchen. A few parents came. Not many, just enough to make the truth feel real. The light above the table flickered every now and then. Rachel made coffee, but nobody touched it. One mother talked about allergy shots her daughter never needed. One father talked about a diagnosis that brought a costly specialist referral, only to be reversed later. Another grandmother cried as she described how her grandson had been given more than one diagnosis that did not hold up under a second opinion. They spoke for hours. I took notes. Names, symptoms, diagnoses, specialists. The same names kept appearing. The same pattern I had seen in the spreadsheet, but hearing it from parents was different. A spreadsheet is clean. Parents are not. They have voices that break. They remember nights they did not sleep. They remember giving medicine to a child who trusted them. They remember the guilt when they find out it may not have been needed. At the end of the night, Rachel walked me to my car. "One more thing," she said. "A woman reached out to me. She used to work in your father's office. She says she has records, internal records." I stopped with my hand on the car door. "What is her name?" "Anna Tran." Anna had worked in billing at my father's clinic for years. If anyone knew what happened behind the scenes, it was her. Rachel gave me her number. "She said to call after dark," Rachel said. "She is scared." I called Anna the next night. She answered right away. Anna wanted to meet at her house, not a coffee shop, not a park, not anywhere someone might see us together. Her house was small and quiet with a porch light that was not turned on. "I do not want anyone to know I am talking to you," she said when she opened the door. "If your father finds out." She did not finish the sentence. She led me to the living room. On the coffee table sat a laptop and a flash drive. "I kept copies," she said. Her voice was low. "I know I probably should not have, but I kept them because I knew something was wrong. I knew someday someone might need proof." She opened the laptop and turned the screen toward me. Billing records, internal notes, claim changes, referral authorizations, and a separate column showing what the original visit had been before it was changed in the system. The pattern was that a routine child visit became something more serious. A regular checkup became a condition that needed follow-up. A normal code became a diagnosis. And after that, a referral, again and again. Anna had saved scanned copies of the original forms. My father's handwriting was on them, his tight, controlled script. The same handwriting I had seen on prescription pads since I was a child. She had documented everything because she was scared and did not know what else to do. "Anna," I said, "why did you not say anything?" Her eyes filled with tears. "He signed my paychecks," she said. "He was always kind to me. He asked about my kids, and I kept telling myself maybe I was wrong. Maybe there was a reason I did not understand." She looked at me. "The same thing you told yourself, right?" She was right. It was exactly the same thing. I asked if she would speak to an investigator. She was quiet for a long time. Then she nodded. "I cannot promise I will not be terrified," she said, "but I will do it." I took everything to the state medical conduct office, Anna's records, the parents' statements, the second opinions, my spreadsheet, and the old audit report I had locked away in my drawer. The investigator who met me was named Dr. Elaine Park. She had the kind of calm face that made you feel she had already seen every kind of lie. She reviewed the material without speaking. The room was plain, beige walls, fluorescent lights, a conference table that looked like it had heard too many bad stories. When she finished, she took off her glasses and rubbed the bridge of her nose. "This is a very strong case," she said. "Internal billing records, parent witnesses, a former employee who documented changes. Your father will fight this." "I know." "He will say Anna is angry. He will say the parents are confused. He will say you are making this personal." "I know." "And your nursing license suspension may be retaliation. We can review that quickly while the larger investigation continues." For the first time in weeks, I felt my chest loosen. Not relief, not yet, but something close. Dr. Park walked me to the door. "One more thing," she said. "Cases like this get harder before they get easier. When your father realizes what is happening, he will try to discredit you. You need to be ready." I thought about the building on Canal Street, the painted walls, the exam rooms, the children who would need somewhere honest to go when this was over. "I am ready," I said, but I was not. Not really, because I did not know my father was about to convince half the town that I was trying to destroy him, and my own mother would believe him. The waiting felt endless. I spent most of it at the Canal Street building. The waiting room turned soft green, the same peaceful color my grandmother once used in her store. The exam rooms got cabinets. The office got a desk. I ordered small things that made the clinic feel real. A blood pressure cuff for children, an exam light, a scale, a box of stickers. Rachel's parent group kept growing. More families came forward. Their stories were painfully similar. A diagnosis, a specialist referral, a second opinion that did not match, and beneath all of it the same question. How could someone we trusted do this? I did not have an answer. My father stayed busy too. He gave a newspaper interview. He said the accusations came from family problems. He said he was saddened. He said I was struggling with personal issues. He did not say my name. He did not need to. Everyone knew. After that, my mother stopped answering my calls. Some days were harder than others. One afternoon, I sat on the floor of the second exam room and cried until my ribs hurt. I had just finished installing the exam table. My hands were sore. The room smelled like fresh paint and fear. I looked around and thought, what if this is all for nothing? What if they do not believe me? What if I am building a clinic that will never open? Then I wiped my face, stood up, and went back to work, because waiting does not move faster just because you are scared. You can only keep building. Dr. Park called when I was painting the waiting room. "The ruling is ready," she said. I put down the paint roller. "And I cannot give you everything over the phone," she said, "but you should come in tomorrow." "Please," I said, "just tell me if it is good or bad." There was a short silence. "It is good," she said. "Very good." I did not sleep that night, but this time it was a different kind of sleepless. The next morning I sat in the same conference room where I had first handed over the evidence. Same walls, same lights, same table, everything the same, but everything different. The ruling confirmed what we had found. My father had used improper diagnoses and billing practices. He had maintained improper relationships with the specialists receiving the referrals. His complaint against me was found to be retaliatory. My nursing license was reinstated. My record was cleared. His hospital affiliation was revoked. His medical license was placed under strict limits. The findings were also sent for possible further review. I stared at the pages, at my father's name, at the word misconduct, at my own name. Cleared, reinstated. I had imagined this moment so many times. I thought I would feel happy. Instead, I felt tired. The kind of tired that comes when you have been carrying something heavy for too long and someone finally helps you put it down. The local paper ran the story the next morning. This time, the headline was different. My father denied the allegations and said he would appeal. He did not. Soon after, he gave up his license. The week after the ruling felt strange. Good strange and bad strange mixed together. Good strange was seeing my license active again. I framed the certificates and hung them on the wall of my new office at Canal Street. The frames were cheap. The wall was freshly painted. It looked perfect. Rachel brought me flowers, yellow tulips. She placed them on the front desk, which was still just a folding table. "Marcus asked if he can come to your clinic instead of your dad's," she said. I said yes. Bad strange was my mother's voicemail. Her voice was quiet and sharp. "Your father is very upset, Lena. I hope you are happy." She did not say congratulations. She did not say sorry. She said happy like it was something cruel. I did not call her back. I did not know what to say. The Elmview Community Pediatric Clinic opened soon after. 2 exam rooms. A green waiting room. A real front desk. Anna came to work for me. This time she did honest billing. Rachel worked the front desk. Families started coming, first the ones affected by my father's practice, then new families, people who wanted a provider who listened, people who wanted someone who paid attention. My father's practice started losing patients quickly. The specialists cut ties. The hospital connection was gone. The trust was gone. And without trust, a medical practice is just a building. Then one afternoon, my father walked into my clinic. He did not have an appointment. Rachel looked at me from the front desk. Her face asked the question before her mouth could. "What do you want me to do?" "It is okay," I said. "Room 2. My father looked smaller than I remembered. He had always seemed large to me, not because of his height, but because of the way he carried himself. He used to walk into any room like he already knew everyone trusted him. That confidence was gone. He stepped into the exam room like he was not sure he was allowed to be there. He looked around. The walls I had drywalled myself. The pediatric cuff with the little giraffe. The diploma on the wall. My license. Restored. "Nice office," he said. It was not really a compliment. It was just something to say while he figured out why he had come. "I got your letter," I said. He had sent it a few days earlier. It only said we needed to talk. "I wanted to speak in person," he said. I waited. "The practice is failing," he said. "I have lost patients. The specialists are gone. I cannot keep things steady much longer." He looked at the floor. "I need your help, Lena." "What kind of help?" "Come back just for a while. You know the protocols better than anyone. You built them. The patients who are still there trust you. If you came back, we could rebuild." I looked at him. This was the man who said I was just a nurse practitioner. The man who filed a complaint against me. The man who helped the town believe I was unstable. The man who let my mother turn away from me. "You want me to come back so your practice does not fail," I said. "It is your practice too. I built it for you." "Don't." My voice was quiet, but it cut through the room. "Do not say you did this for me." He stopped. "You gave children diagnoses they did not need. You sent them to specialists because it helped you. You collected money through a broken system. And when I found out, you tried to destroy my career. You did not do any of that for me." The room was silent. "I made mistakes," he said, "but I am still your father." "Yes," I said, "you are, and I am your daughter. But I am not your solution. I am not your backup plan. I am not the person who saves you from the consequences of what you did." "So that is it?" he asked. "You will let your father's practice collapse." "I am not letting anything happen. You did this." I picked up the file on the counter. A normal child visit, a healthy child, the kind of visit that should stay exactly what it is. "I built something real," I said. "You are standing in it. I hung these walls. I painted this room. I bought this equipment with money I earned, not money I got by lying about children." His eyes were wet. He did not cry, he just looked at the floor. "I hope your practice survives," I said, "because the patients there deserve care, but I am not coming back, and I think you should leave now." He stood there for a few seconds. Then he turned and walked out. He did not say goodbye. He did not say sorry. That was the last time I saw my father. It has been a little while since then. The mornings are warm now, and the light comes through the front windows of the clinic the same way it came through my grandmother's store. Rachel works the front desk. She is good at it, better than I expected. She knows every parent's name, every child's favorite sticker, and which insurance cards need updating. Anna does the billing, real billing. The kind where the codes match the diagnosis and the diagnosis matches the child. More families have come to us now, not just the ones hurt by my father's practice. New ones too, people who heard about the clinic on Canal Street, people who wanted someone who listened. My mother sent me a card recently, just a card, no letter inside, flowers on the front. Her name at the bottom. I do not know what it meant. Maybe she does not either. Maybe she is trying to figure out how to be my mother again now that the story she believed about our family was wrong. I have not called her yet. I will, I think, when I am ready. The building is finished now, mostly. The waiting room is soft green with white trim. The exam rooms have cabinets. My office has a real desk. On the wall next to my license, I hung a photograph of my grandmother standing in front of her old store. She is wearing a blue dress. Her hair is gray. She is smiling like she knows something the camera does not. I look at that photo every morning before the first patient arrives, and I think about what she told me when I was little. People tell you who they are if you pay attention. Most people do not pay attention. I paid attention. It cost me my father. It cost me my mother, at least for now. It cost me the version of my family I had believed in my whole life. But it gave me something else. A clinic full of children getting honest care. A staff of women who came forward even when they were scared. A building my grandmother left me that became exactly what she would have wanted. Not long ago, Marcus Chen came in for a routine visit. He is healthy. He does not have asthma. He never did. He gave me a drawing of the clinic. The windows were yellow because, he said, the sun comes in. At the bottom, in a child's handwriting, he wrote, "Dr. Lena, I am not a doctor. I am a nurse practitioner, but I did not correct him. I pinned the drawing above my desk next to my grandmother's photograph. This morning, I arrived at the clinic before the first patient. The sun was coming through the front windows. I unlocked the door and turned on the lights. The walls were green. The chairs were new. The air smelled like clean floors and fresh paper. I thought about my father. The man who taught me to pay attention, then hoped I would not. He lost his practice. He lost his reputation. He lost me. Somewhere in all of that, I hope he understands what he did. Not just to me, to the children, to the families who trusted him. But that is his story now, not mine. My story is this building, these patients. This town, the same streets, the same lake, the same light through the windows. Everything different. And somehow everything's still here. I hung my white coat on the hook in the exam room. I checked the schedule. A few checkups. A possible ear infection. A newborn coming in for her first visit. The first patient arrived right on time. A mother with a toddler on her hip. The little girl clutched a stuffed bunny and looked at me like toddlers do when they are not sure if you are about to do something unpleasant. "Hi there," I said. "I'm Lena. Let's see what's going on with that nose." The mother smiled. The toddler held her bunny tighter, and I got to work.